Man, I've done like a complete 180 on this since they acquired BI. At first, I was not a fan of the on-court fit because, like you, concerned about some of the duplication on the team. Also, they're already bottom of the league in 3-point rate. I believe they're 29th in 3-point rate this season. Adding a guy like Ingram, who was improved in my opinion as a 3-point shooter, still not a guy who likes to take a ton. That said, after watching Ingram tape, I think there's a lot more than meets the eye. The Raptors really desperately need a guy who can make life easier for Scotty Barnes. And I think in that realm, BI accomplishes that as a guy who can just score buckets. Brandon Ingram is a tough shot maker. And if there's one thing that he's really good at doing, it's taking those shots and making those shots. So ultimately, I think for a team that is struggling in the shot making department and the shot creation department, BI fills a role. The off ball stuff, he's a 40% catch and shoot player, doesn't take a whole ton of catch and shoot threes, but ultimately he's a guy who over the last couple of seasons has taken over 6 threes a game and has hit them on like decent volume, 37, 36%. I do think some of the 3-point shooting questions are overblown. He does take threes, and that says a lot for a team like the Raptors who really doesn't take a lot of threes at all. It's sort of like finding water in the desert. He's the type of player they need right now for this iteration. What does that look for their ceiling and the type of team they will be offensively and defensively moving forward? I think it's a question of buy-in from both sides. Like, are you going to adapt to the way Brandon Ingram likes to play, which is holding the ball, which is, working as a pick and roll player and as a guy who can operate in the pick and roll often? The Raptors don't run a ton of pick and roll. They like to move the ball. And so how do you adapt to that? But also, how does Brandon Ingram adapt to your style offensively? I have a lot of questions moving forward, but I have warmed up to the idea that Ingram is going to be a pretty good fit for this Raptors team just because they severely lack in the shot making department. And I think that will overall make Scotty's life a little bit easier.